Hello there, welcome to Professor Herman Manyora's channel. My name is Jadiel Kabero here with Professor Herman Manyora's. Today's conversation, Prof, is speaking about the two-horse race, if it will be as it will be when it comes to elections 2022. Will there be a third horse? Let me start with that.
It's always been difficult to have a third horse. Attempts have not quite worked. 2007, Kalonzo was the third horse, Katikati. He got about just under 1 million votes, which was quite something. 2013, Mudavadi was a weak third horse, a donkey sort of. He got about 400,000 votes when others were getting 5 or so million. So it's always very difficult. In our situation in this country, it's like the country is always divided half-half, 50-50, with the winner just barely making it. Whether or not there will be a third horse will depend on a number of factors. I have said before, if Kalonzo and Mudavadi insist on running, maybe as a pair, if Kalonzo and Mudavadi run as a pair, certainly there will be a third horse.
Kalonzo and Mudavadi?
Yeah, if they run as a pair.
They'll have a good number of people?
Not significant. It will be a waste of time, but there will be a third horse. They will get about 1 million votes. 1 million, 1.2, 1 point, something like that. If each of them, either of them runs on their own, they may not be considered third and fourth or third horse tying on 3, but they will get insignificant votes. Each will get maybe 300,000 votes, 250,000, 200,000. Kalonzo slightly more, but not up to 500,000. What this will do collectively is to eat into the vote of Raila and Ruto to occasion a rerun.
Would they really eat off Raila per se, or will it be more? Will they really eat Ruto, but Raila? Because
they will, because Ruto has votes in Western, for example. And those votes, if Mudavadi runs, they will go to Mudavadi. If Mudavadi doesn't run, Ruto will get votes from Western. Not significant, like about 100,000, which is significant, which is really big. Yeah, you can get about 100,000 votes. But if Mudavadi is running, then Ruto will not even get 20,000. So, and vice versa, and the same with Ukambani. Now,
when it comes to 2022, it's either Ruto or Raila, as most people would put it, to take over the presidency. Yes. And for most people would hope Ruto, others would hope Raila. I'm thinking about when it comes to that particular time. Yes. What do you think will determine where the votes go per se? When it comes to that particular time, where the elections are ready, what do you think will affect most of the votes?
It is a mountain. Nothing else. This vote will be determined by Mount Kenya.
Mount Kenya region?
It's nothing. Forget about another
When other regions here you say
no, forget about it. No, the vote will be decided on the mountain, on Mount Kenya. You see, if the mountain decides to back somebody, I've always mentioned people like Jimu Wanjigi, there are Kafogo ones, PK May ones, there is Mwangi, people are talking about him and he laughs it off. If that person gets the support of the mountain, because the mountain can turn, they can realize, why are we going with Raila? Where is Ruto taking us? We have the numbers. They have the numbers. And they run. They will not get it. But what will happen, they will knock Ruto out of second position. They will be in second position and there will be a runoff. The winner of the runoff will be determined by a number of factors. Secondly, if the mountain is split, which might be a Jubilee strategy, Uhuru Raila strategy. If the mountain is split, it will deny Ruto the numbers he needs for an outright win. And therefore, he will go for a runoff, but he will end up as number 2 in both the first initial and the runoff. So it will be very easy for Raila if the mountain is split. If the mountain also decides to back Ruto, the way they are with him, if they stick with him to the wire,
the way it is,
it will be very difficult for Raila because Ruto will have a lot of votes.
If
you get all the votes from the mountain, and then Ruto is a go-getter, is moving around the country and topping up, and then the Kalenjin, Raila will have a rough time.
Last week on Saturday, you said Ruto should not bank on the crowd. He should not bank on
That's where I've always, I like Ruto, and I'm repeating it all the time. My friend, these people on the mountain, I can see them backing Ruto.
You can see it?
Yes, they can back him. But to give him the votes he needs to be president, that's where I have a problem. First, the turnout has been wonderful. With all these shenanigans going on, assuming they don't even have a serious candidate, they are not having their own. And these things that are going on in the country, the turnout may not be as wonderful. You need an over 85% turnout from the mountain. Say 80, let's be generous to him. And out of all the votes cast on the mountain, you need more than 80% of the same. To get that, I'm finding it a little difficult to believe.
What would you say is the current state of politics in the country when it comes to the two horses? Who would you say is right now leading when it comes to your personal opinion on the polls as it is?
The one who
if the elections were to be held today, who would you say would take it?
He will win.
If the elections were to be held today?
Then hands down. Come on, over 60%, over 55%.
No runoff, no nothing?
No. Outright win. But you see then, two things. One, we have more than a year or a year at least. Now it's about a year. A year exactly. And 2 days or so.
Yes.
You know, that's a long time in politics. Things are likely to remain like that. Secondly, in all fairness to Raila and the rest, Ruto has been running alone. He's running against himself. He's the only man in the field, in the center of the field. So he's running against Ruto.
Actually, he said they should come out and bring
Ruto is running against Ruto. So if elections were held, we will be saying then, in a sense, Ruto will be number one and another Ruto will be number two. Because there's nobody who is running.
You said there are several factors that would determine whether a runoff would happen and how it will play afterwards. What are some of these factors?
A runoff basically will be if Uhuru and Raila fail to convince Mudavadi and Kalonzo. If they fail, there will be a runoff.
If they fail to convince them to go to Raila?
Number one. And that may work in favor of Raila or Ruto, depending on how things. A runoff can favor any of these two. Another reason I've said is how the mountain behaves. You see? Because if they don't crack, if Ruto maintains his hold on the mountain and works them up to turn out in good numbers and to vote for him almost to a man, there will be no runoff. He will just run away with the trophy as Raila watches. It's just as simple as that.
What should Raila do as of now? Because he has a grace period of 1 year to convince people that if elections were to be held, he will win. What should he do?
He should be more serious on politics. And I've advised Raila, because he's a good man. He has suffered for this country. He's the best president we never had. I would still give him a chance if I was a Kenyan. For a number of reasons. If Raila wants to win, he must play politics. Number one. And they are not playing politics. Don't follow Ruto in this bottom-up thing. No. Play politics. Play politics, number one. Number two, politics. Number three, politics.
Nothing
Watch a
else.
mambo ya sijui infrastructure. That is rubbish. Ati mudavadi economy. Hakuna hiyo. In his politics, it doesn't matter. It is the politics you play. They must find out, how do we crack this thing? And then you look for the numbers through coalitions. If he's not working with Kalonzo, and he must anticipate that, Raila must anticipate Kalonzo and Mudavadi going their own way, and begin to imagine a situation without them. How much will Ngilu, Mutua, and Kibwana give him? He must be working on those numbers. How much will the Mukisa Kituyo, Paranya, and the rest give him when Mudavadi is not with him and Wetang? You know, he must begin cracking that. But another thing, I've said politics, working in coalition building, and playing politics, there's something else. The politics of this country, like many other places, but more so in this country, centered around money.
Money.
Money is important. You must oil your campaign. It is a testimony to the popularity of Raila that without money, he's able to get the numbers he gets. But not using money sufficiently has also denied him the presidency. In 2013, he would have been the president. If from the lessons of 2007, where as Kriegler told us, both sides were stuffing ballots. Kibaki was stuffing around the mountain, Raila was stuffing ballots around there.
Isn't this dirty play? Isn't this dirty play?
So he should have learned, and the people told Raila as much. Take agents in Mount Kenya region. Nobody was going to touch them. Why? ICC was still
around,
and you know, cameras were here.
Yeah.
Nobody talked in 2013. You get the point? fluked through by avoiding a runoff, which Raila would have won. In 2017, people told him, now you remember how we lost this thing. We lost because of not having agents. And they agreed. They even had a bill number, a pay bill number. You know that one Kalonzo was holding. To raise money to have agents. You want to tell me Raila doesn't have his own money to do that? He has, but he doesn't use it.
And that cost quite
Today, he has money, he's not using. Uhuru has money, they are not using that money. And that is how Ruto will give them hell. Because so the other fact about Raila winning, they have to acknowledge the fact that in politics you need resources. They have resources between them. They have people willing to support them. But because the two gentlemen are so mean, honestly, Raila is so mean, Uhuru is so mean.
Did you say that for real?
But I'm saying it on air. I've said it many times. These are mean guys. But these are people I know. You know, there are people I know. At my age, what don't I know? I know these people in this country.
The meanness will cost them.
Why do you think these people are supporting Ruto?
Because he gives
money is involved. Certainly. Yeah, resources are being used to terrorize the ground. Yeah, most of the ground is being terrorized. So I'm not saying they should enhance the culture of handouts. I'm not saying Raila should depart from, in a major way, from seeing politics as being clean, where you don't buy people. He should stick there. But there are certain things you can't do without money. You need to oil your campaign, not buy people. That's not what I'm saying. But he needs to oil his campaign. Like, make sure you'll have agents everywhere.
One candidate that came out from the central region, Jimmy Wanjigi, seems to have the money. Would you say that would make him the third horse?
But he could also be mean. I was reading something in the newspapers. Somebody was saying he has never seen a guy more mean than him. You could have the billions, but you are mean. One thing about billionaires, they are mean. In other words, to become a billionaire, I think is a normal trait. To become a billionaire, two things happen. First, you lose your humanity in the process of making money. You become less human.
You don't care.
And number two, you become so mean, you are even mean to yourself.
But the DP is a billionaire and is giving out money.
This is a hustler. This is not a billionaire, he's a hustler. Why? These people like Raila and Uhuru have what is called old money. Pesa ile imekuwa ya vizazi for generation hii ya kina Uhuru. It's old money, it's stable money. Hii ya DP ni ya kuokota hapa na hapa. The French call it nouvelle riche or something, you know. New money. Watu bado ni mahasla. Waswahili wanasema maskini akipata matako uliambwata.
Let's call it an end from there. So you're saying matako uliambwata, that's a professor for you're calling it an end at that point, but he said something very critical. There needs to be money, there needs to be coalitions, and obviously you need to walk out there and talk to the people and get to know them so that they can be able to vote for you. And also the support of the state is very quite important. Until we have these conversations again, thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you.